Hare Rama, Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Samyukta Mataji, Shirisha Mataji, Raja Prabhu, Swapna Mataji, Venera Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
All Guru Shishla Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Let us begin with Mangalacharana prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् ॐ अपवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं साभ्याभ्यन्तरं शुचिः श्रीविष्णु 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 Thank you very much for joining today. We are reading from Srila Prabhupada's small book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. Let me share the document. Yeah, we are in this chapter, knowing Krishna as he is, last few paragraphs. Let us continue. Can anybody read, please? Samyukta, you can start anyway. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram again. Start. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. ऐनन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तया. O son of Maharaja Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, and although I am so, somehow or other, I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please, therefore, pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Sistastakam prayers, 5th verse. Hare Krishna. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Continue. This should be.
Okay. This should be the standard of prayer. We should only want to be placed as one of the atoms at Krishna's lotus feet to render service unto him. Everyone is praying to God with some interest. But even if we pray to God, give me some money, give me some relief, a nice house, a nice wife, or nice food, that is also good. Yet this is not to the standard of Lord. Prabhuji, scroll.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yet this is not to the standard of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer. Our only prayer should be that the Lord enable us to serve him birth after birth. Our prayer should be, Dear Lord, you are so great that I want to engage in your service. I have been serving all these rascals and I am not satisfied. Now I have come to you. Please engage me in your service. This is the last word in prayer. Some people complain that when they pray to God, they do not feel his presence. We should know that this is due to our incapacities, not God's. There are two conceptions of presence, the physical conception and the vibrational conception. The physical conception is temporary, whereas the vibrational conception is eternal. When we enjoy or relish the vibration of Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad Gita, or when we chant Hare Krishna, we should know that by those vibrations, he is immediately present. He is absolute, and because of this, his vibration is just as important as his physical presence. When we feel separation from Krishna or the spiritual
Master.
or the spiritual master, we should just try to remember their words of instructions and we will no longer feel that separation. Such association with Krishna and the spiritual master should be association by vibration, not physical presence. That is real association. We put so much stress on seeing. But when Krishna was present on this earth, so many people saw him and did not realize that he is God. So, what is the advantage of seeing? By seeing Krishna, we will not understand him, but by listening carefully to his teachings, we can come to the platform of understanding. We can touch Krishna immediately by sound vibration. Therefore, we should give more stress to the sound vibration of Krishna and of the spiritual master. Then we will feel happy and won't feel separation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for
Thank you,
this.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So these called, Sanskrit words. Vani, Vapu, presence. Sound vibration, Vani, and Vapu, physical presence, physical uh, touch. No, when spiritual master is visiting, for example, Hyderabad temple, we must take association of his physical appearance and teachings and his classes and association. But most importantly and every time, we can be associated with Vani, sound vibration, right? We cannot see Krishna, but we can see Krishna through Vani, spiritual sound vibration. And that is perfect. So we cannot always see Krishna in this material world. We cannot see physical form of Krishna, but we can see every time through his holy name, sound vibration, through his scriptures. So that is a recommended. And as per the Vedic literature, we always have to hear his teachings. That way, you will associate with Krishna, our spiritual master also. So this is a prayer, Sikshastakam prayer, fifth one, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavambudo, Krupaya Tava Pada Pankaja, Stita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya. O son of Maharaja Nanda, I am your eternal servitor. Although I am so somehow or other, I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please, therefore, pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. This is the prayer of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is a prayer of all of us also. That's where every day, before chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we recite these 6 Shastakam prayers and 10 offenses. So that is a mood of devotee, always taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. Surrender to at the lotus feet of the Lord. Right. Give me some money, give me some relief, nice house, nice wife, nice food. That is also good. Yet this is not the standard of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer. Our only prayer should be that the Lord enable us to serve him birth after birth. I want to engage in your service. I have been serving all these rascals and I am not satisfied. Now I have come to you. Please engage me in your service. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra meaning is, Krishna, Adharani, please engage me in your service. Yeah. How can we understand? When we chant Hare Krishna Mantra, we utilize our senses, our tongue, our ear, and our mind. Right? Yeah. Prabhupada writes the two concepts. Two conceptions of presence, the physical conception, vibrational conception. Vani, Vapu, yes. Whereas the vibrational conception is eternal. When we enjoy, relish the vibration of Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad Gita, or when we chant Hare Krishna, we should know that by those vibrations, he is immediately present. Even though we won't experience, but he is there. Krishna is there. Govinda is there. Krishna, if we recite, is there. Now we are reading, he is there. That's the thing. Yeah. Vanilla Mataji, please read from this paragraph from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, just. From Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that when Krishna departed from this world, Arjuna was overwhelmed with sorrow, but he began to remember the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. He became pacified. Arjuna was Krishna's constant friend. So when Krishna went to his abode, Arjuna was overwhelmed. But just by remembering his teachings, he got relief from the pains of separation. Thus, whenever we feel separation, it is best to remember the teachings. The teachings of Bhagavad Gita were imparted to Arjuna for his happiness and for the happiness of all men. This is indicated by Krishna at the beginning of 10th chapter when he said, can you please scroll down?
Yes.
भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया. Again, O mighty armed Arjuna, listen to my supreme word, which I shall impart to you for your benefit and which will give you great joy. Bhagavad Gita 10.1.
You can complete, Mataji. We are done with this chapter. And complete it.
By hearing the words of Lord Krishna and following them carefully, we will attain not only peace in the world, but supreme peace, Param Shantim. All this is required. All that is required is that we seek refuge in the lotus feet of Krishna and render service unto him by chanting his glories and pushing this Krishna consciousness movement in every town and village of the world. It is Krishna's promise that by such surrender, peace and eternal life will come automatically. Tam eva saranam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi sasvatam.
Yeah, one second. Let's complete this. Yeah.
O Skayana Bharata, surrender unto him in all respects so that by his mercy you can have transcendental peace and the eternal abode. Bhagavad Gita 18.62.
Yes, Mataji. We are done with this chapter. And there is one last chapter, Krishna, knowing Krishna's energies. Let me see. Param Shantim, supreme peace. We will attain not only peace in this world, but the supreme peace. Param Shantim, this verse, right? Param Shantim. So if you see, from Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that when Krishna departed from this world, Arjuna overwhelmed with sorrow. But when he began to remember the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, he became pacified. So his teachings are eternal, even though his physical presence is not there. With his teachings, we can be experienced Krishna. The teachings of Bhagavad Gita were imparted to Arjuna for his happiness and for the happiness of all men. This is indicated by Krishna at the beginning of the 10th chapter. Bhuya eva mahabaho shunu me paramam vacha yatteham priyamanaya vakshyami hitakamyaya. Listen to my supreme word, which I shall impart to you for your benefit and which will give you a great joy. Which will give you a great joy. Yeah. That means when we repeatedly read these scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we get the happiness. And that is a real happiness. That is eternal happiness. Right? The activity is eternal also. The time we are spending, the reading, the hearing, glorifying. These are all eternal filling the eternal bank balance account. Right? Which cannot be purchased by any millions of dollars, any crores of rupees like that. Bhakti is like that. Bhakti is whatever activity centered around Krishna is eternal activity. It's not this, it can carry, it is filling this eternal bank balance. By hearing these words, Lord Krishna, and following them carefully, we will attain not only peace in the world, that's a repeated instruction, repeated hearing, right, reading, but the supreme peace, Param Shantim. All that is required is that we seek refuge in the lotus feet of Krishna, render service unto him by chanting his glories and pushing this Krishna conscious movement in every town and village in the world, village of the world. Bharata Bhumite Sarva Upakari Paro. There is a forgot actually. The Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teachings. Bharata Bhumila, anybody takes birth in the Bharata Varsha to Sarva Paropakari, to help each other, they have to spread this glories of the Supreme Lord, teachings of the Supreme Lord. Last verse, Srila Prabhupada concluded with this chapter. What is this chapter actually? Knowing Krishna as he is. Right? Knowing Krishna as he is. Yeah, knowing Krishna as he is. Tameva Sharanam Gacha Sarva Bhavena Bharata Tat Prasadat Param Shantim Sthanam Prapyasi Sashvatam. Sharanam Shashvatam Sarva Bhavena. Very, very important words in this verse. Ocean of Bharata, surrender unto him in all respects, so that by his mercy you can have transcendental peace and the eternal abode. 1862. Surrender to Krishna. Sarva Bhavena Tameva Sharanam Kascha. Sarva Bhavena Bharata. Tat Prasadat Param Shantim Sthanam Prapyasi Shashvatam. Real happiness and eternal happiness when we surrender to Krishna, when we follow his instructions, we get that. So that is what the meaning of this verse. Thank you very much. Let us continue with another chapter. This is the last chapter of this book, fifth one. Knowing Krishna's glories. I think this is the last chapter, I am guessing. So there is one more chapter, I think. Yeah. Knowing Krishna's energies. Then there is taking to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we have two more chapters in this book. Let us read the fifth one. Yeah, I see one message. What is that? Yeah, Bharata Bhumite Haila. Bharata Bhumite Haila. Manusha Janma Yare Janma Sartha Kari Kara Upakara. Thank you, Venala Mataji. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructions. Bharata Bhumite Haila Manusha Janma Yara Janma Sartha Kari Kara Upakara. To save this. Yeah. Swapna Mataji, Raju Prabhu, or Sirisha Mataji. Anybody likes it?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will write today. Hare Krishna.
Read.
Knowing Krishna's energies. For Krishna, there is no difference between material and spiritual energy. For him, it is all the same. Sometimes electricity works for cooling purposes. Sometimes it works for heating purposes. But the energy generated from the electricity powerhouse is all the same. Similarly, Krishna's energy is always spiritual, but it is acting in different ways. In a town, there may be a department of welfare and a department of police. In the eyes of the government, both are the same, for both are subsidiary parts of the government. But for the individual, they render different services. The material energy may be working in different ways that may not be very pleasant to the living entity. But that does not mean that material energy is not liked by Krishna. It is an important as spiritual energy, but it is engaged to punish the conditioned soul, just as the police department is engaged in punishing criminals. In the Brahma Samhita, it is confirmed that Krishna's energy is always spiritual, but it is acting in different ways, in different fields of activities. In relation to Krishna, there is no distinction between the energies. But for our understanding, we discriminate and say that sometimes the energy is working in a material way and sometimes in a spiritual way. We are thinking that the energy is hot or cold, good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, but in fact, the energy is the same. Krishna cannot distribute inferior energy because he is not inferior. He is always superior, spiritual, and therefore his energy is always spiritual. Subhadra is the sister of Krishna, and from her comes the incarnation of Durga, the personification of material energy. Subhadra is in the spiritual world and is eternally related to Krishna as his energy. But when Durga conducts her activities here in the material world, it is not that she is to be considered inferior. In the Bhagavad Gita as well as in the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Durga or Maya is acting under Krishna's direction. So, how can she be considered inferior? Criminals may think that the police department is an inferior governmental department, but the law-abiding citizens do not think that this is so. It simply functions in a particular way. Similarly, the material energy has to act to bewilder the living entity who is under the direction of Krishna. We are the living entities within the material energy, and we are in this position because we wanted to dominate material nature. Krishna has given us the facility saying, all right, you may try, but you cannot be successful. As long as we are in the ignorance of how the laws of nature are working under the supreme direction of Krishna, we will continue to be defeated in our activities. When we understand Krishna in perfection, we will automatically know the laws of nature and how they are acting. Vaishnavas are concerned with the background of laws of material nature. When we understand Krishna in perfection, we can understand that there is, Prabhuji, can you scroll? Hare Krishna. There is actually no inferior or material energy, but that everything is spiritual. We can understand that on the higher platform, whatever we are experiencing are the actions and reactions of the different energies of the Supreme Lord. When we understand Krishna perfectly, then these distinctions of superior and inferior energies will disappear. Whatever is engaged in the service of Krishna is superior energy. In the higher sense, everything is serving Krishna. And those who are highly elevated understand this. That the Lord has various energies is confirmed in Vedic literature. Yet the Supreme Lord personally has nothing to do. How is this? He has nothing to strive for wealth, for all wealth is his, nor for knowledge. For all knowledge is his, nor for power. For all power is his, nor for beauty, fame, and renunciation. For they are all his in full. Nor does he directly manage universal affairs. For he has many assistants who can conduct affairs while he remains in his abode. This is confirmed in Sri Ishopanishad. Ishopanishad. Anejat ekam manaso jivayo nainat deva apuvan purvan arsat tad dhavato nyan atyati tistat tasmin apo matarisva dadati. Hare Krishna.
Continue. It's a translation answer.
The personality of Godhead, although fixed in his abode, is more swift than the mind and can overcome all other running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he has control over those who supply the air and rain, he surpasses all in excellence. Sri Ishopanishad Mantra 4. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Anejadekam manaso javiyo naina deva apnuvan purvan arsat tadhavatonyad atyeti tistad tasminnapo matarishva dadati. What is that? So he has created this material world. In order to function material world, he has different assistants to help him to run this material nature. But he remains in his abode. He's always there in blissful, loving exchanges with his devotees in Golok Vrindavana. This is confirmed in Sri Upanishad. Sri Upanishad. The personality of God, although fixed in his abode, is more swift than the mind and can overcome all other runnings. He is always situated. The powerful demigods cannot approach him, although in one place. He has control over those who supply the air and the rain. He surpasses all in excellence. Beautiful prayer from Sri Ishopanishad. So nicely explaining his energies of Krishna. There is no difference between material and spiritual energy. For Krishna, there is no difference between material and spiritual energy. For us, we have difference. That's where we are suffering in the material world. We are not experiencing the, the real peace and happiness. Krishna, no difference means he can be there here, he can be there in the spiritual world. He's everywhere. His eyes and ears. He knows everything. In Bhagavad Gita, there is one verse actually. Everywhere is eyes, ears, like that. I forgot the words. For him, it is all the same. Sometimes electricity works for cooling purposes, and sometimes it works for heating purposes. But the energy generated from the electric powerhouse is all the same. Just a good analogy. How the electric powerhouse, the energy generated from the electric powerhouse. Like here, electric powerhouse is Krishna, Supreme Personality of God. It is the creator of both spiritual and material worlds. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajantema buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Whoever knows this, they can engage me nicely. That's where Krishna says. But it is acting in different ways. Material world is acting different way. Spiritual world is acting in different way. Activation, different ways. Again, Prabhupada so nicely, these are the real-time examples. Department of Welfare and Department of Police. In the eyes of government, both are the same. Both are subsidiary parts of the government. But they are rendering different services. Like that, demigods, different assistants to helping and running this material nature. Right? 3 modes of material nature. Under the 3 modes of material nature, this entire material creation is working. Triguna. Yeah. But that does not mean that material energy is not liked by Krishna. It is as important as spiritual energy. That's where in his creation, everything is important. Because everything comes from him, everything is of so much value, right? All these material elements, Bhumi, Raponala, Vayu, earth, water, fire, air, either mind, intelligence, and false ego, and the jivas, souls, everything is important in connection with Krishna. Everything is purpose. Everything is as a purpose. Just as the police department is engaged in punishing criminals, just as this material world is created for rebellious souls who are not in serving mode in the spiritual world, somehow got to enjoy like Krishna. Durga, basically Durga means which is difficult to overcome. Durga. The meaning of Durga is which is difficult to overcome. Durga Devi Shakti, material world. The law-abiding citizens do not think that this is so. It is simply functions in a particular way. Similarly, the material energy has to act to be bewildered the living entity who is under the direction of Krishna. Maya adhyakshena prakrite suyate sacharacharam hetunanina kaunteya jagadvi parivartate. Maya adhyakshena prakrite. It's under my direction, but my agents are running. They are my servants. We are the living entities within this material world. We are in the position because we wanted to dominate material nature. Krishna has given us the facility, saying, all right, you may try, but you cannot be successful. As long as we are in the ignorance of how the laws of nature are working under the supreme direction of Krishna, we will continue to be defeated in our activities. When we understand Krishna in perfection, we will automatically know the laws of nature and how they are interacting. Very wonderfully writing Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That's we have to just like in the government we are here, we are abiding laws. Otherwise, they put in jail. If we won't follow, right? Traffic rules, for example, red light. If we cross the red light, we get the fine, or sometimes we get arrested. If we continuously do that, we may lose driving license. It's a law. We have to follow. And killing other person, killing persons, murder. There is a law. So that's where, if just like we are abiding laws of this government, we have to abide the laws of this material nature, and we have to understand. Just like government, under the government, different departments there. Under Krishna, there are different material elements, different demigods who are running the service to Krishna. So we have to follow the instructions. We have to follow the regulative principles. We have to understand from scriptures. Otherwise, we are gonna be punished in no or unturned. Actually, English. Here also, Krishna always sees that, see why we are taking birth, repeated birth. The activities, what kind of activities we are performing is important. Yeah. So nicely explaining here. When we understand Krishna perfectly, then these distinctions of superior and inferior energies will disappear. Whatever is engaged in the service of Krishna, superior energy, period. In the higher sense, everything is serving Krishna. And those who are highly elevated understand this. Everything is for the purpose of serving Krishna. That's it. That the Lord has various energies confirmed in Vedic literatures, yet the Supreme Lord personally has nothing to do with this. How is this? He has not to strive for wealth, knowledge, everything is right. How can attracts Krishna through his different six opulences? Sarva Akarshati iti Krishna, right? He is full of knowledge, full of beauty, full of renunciation, full of strength, right? Another two. Knowledge, beauty, fame, strength, renunciation. One more thing.
Wealth, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes. So total six opulences. Through that, he attracts
Beauty, strength,
beauty.
wealth,
Name, fame, beauty, wealth, strength, renunciation. 6 aye, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Sarva Akarshati the Krishna. Bhagavan. Bhagavan, who possesses all six opulences. Bhaga means opulences. Van means who possesses. Bhagavan, who possesses all six opulences. Krishna. Sarva Akarshati the Krishna. Krishna means they are attractive personality. So he has everything in full. That way he attracts. No, any materialistic person, any billionaire or trillionaire cannot match to Krishna. That's where there is beautiful word, na? Asamordhva. Meaning, what is the meaning of Asamordhva?
No one
Sama.
is equal. No one is equal. No one.
No one is
Asam.
greater or equal to Supreme.
Yeah, no one is equal and no one is greater than Krishna. That's it. In his full of opulences, the six opulences, nobody is equal and nobody is greater than. Yeah. So that's his personality. So let us continue from here again. Okay. Thank you, Swapna Mataji. So now I think Shirisha Mataji, want to read? Okay. Now Hare Krishna again, Shirisha Mataji. Pallavi Mataji, please continue from this paragraph.
Prabhuji, I'll read next, Prabhuji. I'm in mid of something. So I'm just in
Sure.
heat mode now.
Okay. Sirisha Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Samyukta Mataji, please read again.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thus, Krishna has no work to perform. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he simply engages in enjoying himself with the gopis, cowherd girls, and his consort Radharani. Krishna, as Krishna, does not really engage in killing demons. When Krishna kills demons, he is known as Vasudeva Krishna, not the original Krishna. When Krishna expands himself, he first expands as Balarama, then Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. As Vasudeva, he acts in Mathura and Dwaraka, but as Krishna in his original feature, he remains in Vrindavana. This may seem to be confusing. Even one of the greatest fiction writers in Bengal misunderstood and thought that Krishna of Vrindavana, Krishna of Dwaraka, and Krishna of Mathura were three different persons. But this is not difficult to understand if we know the nature of Krishna's expansions. Krishna is the same and he is the one without a second, but he can expand himself in billions and trillions of forms. This is all for the purpose of his enjoyment. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains his different manifestations to Arjuna in this way. Uchchaishravasam ashvanam viddhimam amrutodbhavam airavatam gajendranam naranam cha naradhipam ayudhanam aham vajram dhenunam asmi kamadhuk prajanaschasmi kandarpaha sarpanam asmi vasukihi. O horses know me to be Uchchaishrava, who rose out of the ocean, born of the elixir of immortality. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am Kamadhuk, giver of abundant milk. Of procreators, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki, the chief. Bhagavad Gita 10.27-28. Lord Krishna further enumerated the many great manifestations of the material creation and explained how each of representative of himself. He concluded a long detailed account of these manifestations by saying, Atava bahunaitena kim gnatena tabarjuna vishtabhyaham idam krishnam ekam shena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support these entire universes. Bhagavad Gita 10.42. Continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thus, this material world is existing on one plenary portion of Krishna. If Krishna did not enter this universe, it could not exist. Similarly, unless the spirit soul, which is a fragmental portion of Krishna, enters this body cannot exist. As soon as the spirit soul leaves, the body immediately becomes useless. When Krishna enters into matter, matter has value. This is true for the minute individual atom and the great universal as well. Since the manifestation of Krishna are so great, we should know that his enjoyment is far greater than ours. We have to try to understand what kind of enjoyment Krishna likes. Everyone knows that God is great, and we can conclude from this that his enjoyment is great also. In this regard, Sarupa Damodara Goswami has written a verse which says that although the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna may appear like ordinary material affairs, this is not actually the case. Radharani is the pleasure potency of Krishna. In the Vedanta Sutra, the absolute truth is said to be always enjoying the pleasure potency. When we want pleasure, we cannot have it alone. We feel pleasure in the company of friends or family. I may pleasure in the I may speak in a room alone, but if I speak in a room before other people, the pleasure is increased. Pleasure means that there must be others, and therefore Krishna, the absolute truth, who is always engaged in enjoying himself, has become many.
Thank you,
We are
Mataji.
Krishna. Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes. This is one of the important words. Atava bahu neitena kim jnatena tava Arjuna vistabhyaham idam Krishnam ekamshena stito jagat. With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support these entire universes. This is what it is, Krishna. And he is explaining in 10th chapter about his different energies. Of horses, I am Uchchaishrava. Of elephants, I am Airavata. Of men, I am monarch. Of weapons, I am thunderbolt. Among cows, I am Kamaduk, giver of abundant milk. Of procreators, I am Kandharpa, the god of love. And the serpents, I am Vasuki, the chief. So we have to understand. Krishna is so nicely explained in 10th chapter. Topmost things. Different manifestations. Krishna explains is a different manifestations. Right. So he expanded, first Krishna's expansion only. Through that expansion, he is working. His agents also working. First expansion is Sankarshana. He first expands as Balarama, then Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva. Sankarshana is that's another thing. Balarama. As Vasudeva, he acts as in Mathura, Dwaraka, but as Krishna in his original feature, he remains in Vrindavana. Okay. This is important one. See, he simply engages in enjoying himself with the gopis, cowherd girls, and his consort Radharani in the Golok Vrindavana, Gopas, gopis, all the pure devotees of Supreme Lord who are in the mood of Madhurya Lila, Madhurya Rasa. Madhurya Rasa. Yeah. Let us continue.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll be.
You want to read? Okay. And continue from here, Madhuri. We pray, we are Krishna's.
Yeah, Prabhuji. We are Krishna's parts and parcels and have been created to give pleasure to Krishna. The chief pleasure potency is Radha Rani, and so Radha Krishna are always together, whereas the material energy is conducted by the external potency, Maya. The spiritual world is conducted by the internal potency, Radharani. We often pray to Radharani because she is the pleasure potency of Krishna. The very word Krishna means all attractive, but Radharani is so great that she attracts Krishna. If Krishna is always attractive to everyone and Radharani is attractive to Krishna, how can we imagine the position of Srimati Radharani? We should try humbly to understand and offer her our obeisances, saying, Radharani, you are so dear to Krishna. You are the daughter of King Rishabhanu and you are Krishna's beloved. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Radharani is very dear to Krishna, and if we approach Krishna through the mercy of Radharani, we can easily attain him. If Radharani recommends a devotee, Krishna immediately accepts him, however foolish he may be. Consequently, in Vrindavana, we find that devotees chant Radharani's name more often than Krishna's. Wherever we go in India, we will find devotees calling Jai Radhe. We should be more interested in worshipping Radharani for however fallen we may be. If somehow or other we can please her, we can very easily understand Krishna. If we try to understand Krishna by the speculative process, we will have to spend many lifetimes of speculation. But if we take to devotional service and just try to please Radharani, then Krishna can be very easily realized. Radharani is such a great devotee that she can deliver Krishna. Even Krishna cannot understand Radharani's qualities. He fails to understand her because she is so great. In order to understand Radharani, Krishna actually accepted her position. Krishna thought, although I am full and complete in every respect, I still don't understand Radharani. Why is that? This obliged Krishna to accept the propensities of Radharani, and this accounts for his manifestation as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he is Krishna accepting the propensities of Radharani. Radharani is always feeling separation from Krishna, and similarly, in the position of Radharani, Lord Chaitanya was always feeling that separation. Furthermore, those who follow the teachings of Lord Chaitanya should experience and relish the feelings of separation, not of meeting. The Goswamis, disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most perfect and highly elevated beings, never said, I have seen Krishna. Instead, they constantly cried, where is Radharani? Where are Lalita and Vishakha and the other damsels of Vrindavana? In their mature stage of love of Godhead, when they were living in Vrindavana, the Goswamis would also cry, Radharani, where are you? Where are your associates? Where are you? O son of Nanda Maharaja, where are you all? In this way, they were searching after Krishna, and they never at any time said, last night I saw Krishna dancing in the kopis. Such claims are not made by a mature devotee, but by one who takes things very cheaply. Some people think that Radha and Krishna are so cheap that they may be seen every night, but this is not the teaching of the Goswamis, who were always searching after Krishna, crying, where are you? Where are you, Radharani? Where are you, Krishna? Are you there by Govardhana Hill? Are you on the bank of the Yamuna? In this way, throughout the whole tract of Vrindavana, the Goswamis were crying and searching after Radha and Krishna like madmen. We have to follow in the footprints of the Goswamis and search out Radha and Krishna in this way. Vrindavana is in our hearts and we must search for him there. This is the process recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the process of worship in separation. Feeling separation from Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would throw himself into the sea. Sometimes he would leave his room in the dead of night and disappear. No one would know where he had gone, but all the while he was searching after Krishna. Thus, it is not that we are to enjoy the loving exchange between Krishna and Radha like spectators at some sports show. We must feel separation from them. The more we feel separation, the more we should understand that we are advancing with our material senses. We cannot see Krishna, nor can we even hear his name. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Continue, Jayamantara, Prabhuji.
Complete this paragraph. Yes, you can continue, Mataji. Yeah, Mother Hare Krishna. Oh, I think internet issue. I don't know. She's not there. Sirisha Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Are you in a position to read Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please read.
We can begin to perceive him when we advance in devotional service. The devotional service begins with the tongue, not the legs, eyes, or ears. The tongue must be utilized to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and take Krishna Prasadam. Thus, the tongue has a dual function, and by utilizing it in this way, we will realize Krishna. We cannot see Krishna with our material eyes, nor hear about him with material ears, nor touch him with our hands. But if we engage our tongue in his service, he will reveal himself, saying, Here I am. This chanting of Hare Krishna extinguishes the blazing fire of material nature. This is also the purport to the following prayers to the spiritual master. Samsara dava nalalida loka pranaya karunya gana ganatvam yaptasya kalyana gurunana vasya vande guru shri charanaravindam. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy, just as the cloud pours water on the forest fire to extinguish it. So the spiritual master extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Shri Guru Vastakam, verse 1. This material world is often compared to a forest fire which takes place automatically. No one wants a forest fire, but there is often lightning or carelessness or friction or whatever, and the fire immediately takes place. Similarly, this material world is
beset with a blazing fire of problems. Everyone wants to live here peacefully, but situations develop in such a way that is not possible for anyone. We struggle very hard to adjust things in so many ways, but nature's laws are so cruel and dangerous that in spite of our hopes and plans, the blazing fire of the problems of material existence continues. Can I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. In this century, for instance, we have attempted to put out the fire of war, but it has not been possible. There was a First World War, and then a League of Nations was formed to try to prevent a second, but despite their attempts, a second took place. Now, a United Nations have been constructed to help end war, but war is going on it. Vietnam, in Egypt, in Pakistan, and other places. No one wants a third world war, but it seems imminent. It is not possible to send a fire brigade, a few men with buckets of water to extinguish a great fire in the forest, to extinguish a roaring forest fire. There must be volumes of water. In other words, there must be an arrangement that is behind human endurance. An arrangement is human endeavor. When there is a merciful cloud over the forest fire, the clouds burst, rain pours down in torrents, and Prabhuji?
Yeah,
Yeah.
scroll on.
The blazing fire is immediately extinguished. As a cloud collects water from the ocean, similarly, the spiritual master collects water from Krishna's ocean of mercy and pours it over the blazing fire of material existence. Thus, one who bestows or distributes the merciful rain of Krishna is called a spiritual master or guru.
Yes. I want to read one. Continue.
In Vedic literatures, it is said that in order to understand the transcendental science of Krishna consciousness, we must try to acquire knowledge of how to extinguish this blazing fire of problems. Scientists, philosophers, and other educated men are trying very hard to extinguish it, but the result seems to be bigger and bigger bombs. The karmis are fruitive labors laborers are working with heart and soul day and night to extinguish this fire or to diminish the miserable condition of material existence by dint of hard labor. The Gnanis or philosophers are also trying, but they have become disgusted and so proclaim this world is false. Thinking this, they try to merge into the existence of the Supreme and in this way extinguish the fire. This is like the jackal who tries to pick some grapes from a vine and when he fails says, "Oh, these grapes are sour." Anyway, the yogis or meditators try to gain superior mystic power by becoming greater than the greatest, smaller than the smallest, lighter than the lightest, and heavier than the heaviest. But this is just so much child's play with any material body. Whether it be great or small, light or heavy, the problems of material existence still remain. In this way, one may progress from one stage to another, coming from the stage of karmi or fruitive labor to the stage of gnani or philosopher, to the stage of yogi or meditator. But in any case, one finally has to come to the platform of bhakti or devotional service. This is the real evolutionary process. It is indicated in Bhagavad Gita in this way. Continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah, there. చదవండి ఎస్ మధు
Sarvamiti Samahatma Durlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is such a great soul is very rare. Bhagavad Gita 7.90.
Thank you, Mother.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhupada explained different things in this. these paragraphs. Pretty straightforward, actually, so nicely explaining about the Goswamis, how they're moved, how do we engage our senses in the chanting. If you see few points. Material energy is conducted by the external potency Maya. The spiritual world is conducted by the internal potency Radharani. So there is one word about only one word. It talks about many things. It's a big meaning. Our ISKCON Abits Temple's main deity's name. Can anybody say what is the deity's name? ISKCON Abits Temple. Gaurnita is there. Jana Baldev Subhadra Devi is there. Then what is the temple? What is our deity's name? Main deities. Hare Krishna.
Radha Madan Mohan, not sure, Prabhuji.
Ade doubt in the mother. Yes. Radha Madan Mohan. But actually, Radharani Kana Madana Mohini. Of course, Krishna is all attractive. Madan Mohan is all attractive. But Krishna also doesn't know how she much is so much, doing this. He wanted to experience. That's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming in the form of devotee in the mode of Srimad Radharani. So that he only able to experience. Unless he experience, he cannot understand. That's where Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 550 years back as a devotee in the mood of Srimad Radharani. So he Madana Mohana Mohini. He is attractive, but Krishna is he himself attracted by Radharani's love. How much pleasure potency. That's called, she is giving the pleasure potency. She is the pleasure potency of Krishna. The word Krishna means all attract, but Radharani is so great that she attracts Krishna. Srimati Radharani's position is topmost. That's where we should try humbly to understand and offer her our obeisances, saying, Radharani, you are so dear to Krishna, you are the daughter of Radharani is very dear to Krishna, and we approach Krishna through the mercy of Radharani, we can easily attain him. If Radharani recommends a devotee, Krishna immediately accepts him, however foolish he may be. Radharani's mercy is, we can understand, a little devotion towards Krishna, a little service, Radharani attracts, and says that, Krishna, look at this devotee, how he is performing nicely, recommends. Wherever we go in India, especially Vrindavan, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, right? We see how many of, I think, Samyukta, have you been in Vrindavan?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Vrindavan, here in here, Mathura Vrindavan. Vrindavan Yatra, have you been there?
No, Prabhuji. అక్కడ ఉన్నప్పుడు వెళ్ళాను Prabhuji. US లో ఇక్కడ వెళ్ళలేదు Prabhuji.
Vrindavan, that's New Vrindavan.
New Vrindavan.
Original Vrindavan, India. Okay. So yeah. So there, wherever we walk, devotees by looking at each other, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe. They say that. That's why Prabhupada right, Jai Radhe. We should be more interested in worshipping Radharani. For however fallen we may be, if somehow or other, if we can please her, we can very easily understand Krishna. So Radharani's mercy, Radharani. Radharani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Bolo barsana wali ki jai, jai, jai. Bolo tapta kanchana gaurangi ki jai, jai, jai. Bolo Vrishabhanu Dulari ki jai, jai, jai. So that's where in the morning prayers we do after glorifying Radha Krishna, glorifying especially Radharani. Yes. So Krishna appeared in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a devotee, understanding Radharani's love towards Krishna. Radharani is always feeling separation from Krishna, and similarly in the position of Radharani, Lord Chaitanya was always feeling that separation. Furthermore, separation. Yugaitam nimeshena shikshashtakam prayer. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshisham praurushayitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govindam virahename. I mean, separation. Every moment, 12 years of time. Separation is feelings. And Goswamis also. What is the Goswamis doing here? The Goswamis, disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most perfect, highly elevated beings, never said, I have seen Krishna. Instead, they constantly cried, where is Radharani? Where are Lalita and Vishaka and other damsels of Vrindavan? There is one Lalita Vishaka Gana Chataki Vranda. There is a beautiful place actually, Vaishnava Acharyas. Where are you all? In this way, they were searching after Krishna. Then they never at any time said, last night I saw Krishna dancing with the gopis. Such claims are not made by a such claims are not made by a mature devotee, but by one who takes things very cheaply. Some people think that Radha and Krishna are so cheap they may have seen every night, but this is not the teachings of Goswamis, who are always searching after Krishna, crying, where are you? Where are you, Radharani? Where are you, Krishna? Are you there by Govardhana Hill? Are you on the bank of Yamuna? In this way, throughout the whole tract of Vrindavana, the Goswamis were crying, searching after Radha and Krishna like madmen. We have to follow in the footsteps of Goswamis. That's where called Rupanugas. Anuga means following in their footsteps. And actually, we are all Rupanugas. As we are practicing devotional life in the ISKCON institution, not only ISKCON, it's Brahma Madhya Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradayam. We are following the Rupanugas because we read many teachings in Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada recommended these books for Bhakti Shastri. So when we understand those teachings given by Rupa Goswami, the prominent Acharya in the 6 Goswamis, he has given these 2 wonderful books. Many books he has written. One of the instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, write books glorifying Radha and Krishna and their pastimes. It's very elevated. It's highly, it's so much actually. Radha and Krishna is with their literature. Radha and Krishna's pastimes, we become very close to Radharani and Krishna by understanding these, deep relations, deep pastimes from the pure devotees like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopala Bhatta Goswami, and Jiva Goswami. 6 Goswamis. So our wonderful literature glorifying Radha and Krishna. Yes. The more we feel separation, the more we should understand that we are advancing. With our material senses, we cannot see Krishna, nor can we even hear his name. We can begin to perceive him when we advance in devotional service. The devotional service begins with the tongue, not the legs, eyes, ears. Tongue must be utilized to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And take prasadam. Right? Take prasadam. This does the tongue as a dual function. And by utilizing in this way, that means speaking, glorifying Krishna by chanting, the speaking propensity. Loud enough to hear the chant of the holy names. And take prasadam, Krishna prasadam, only take Krishna prasadam. We will realize Krishna. We cannot see Krishna with our material eyes, not hear about him with material ears, not touch with him our hands, but if we engage our tongue in his service, he will reveal himself. Here I am. So that way, when we glorify, when we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, what happens? Chaito Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagnirvapanam. It will clear the dust of our heart through the kind of material desires, material motivations, material things. It can be cleared off when we chant the Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleaning the dust on the mirror, just like cleaning our heart. It is covered now. Samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karunya gana ganatvam raptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru shri charanaravinda. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy. He got the mercy from Krishna. He has seen the truth. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Because he is a self-realized soul, he has seen the truth. He experienced Krishna, and he whatever he got the mercy from Krishna, he is sharing with us. That's the beauty of spiritual master. Just as a cloud pours water on the forest fire to extinguish it, so the spiritual master extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of very spiritual master. This material world is often compared to a forest fire. So, how can we control? How can we stop the forest fire? Is it possible? No one wants the forest fire, but there is often lightning or carelessness, friction, whatever. The fire immediately takes place. Similarly, in this material world, is beset with blazing fire of problems. Everyone wants to live peacefully, but situations develop in such a way that this is not possible for anyone. We struggle very hard to adjust things in so many ways, but nature's law are so cruel, dangerous, that in spite of our hopes and plans, the blazing fire of the problems of material existence continues. That's where Davagni, Samsara Davagni, forest fire. But through the medicine of Hare Krishna mantra, it can be evaporated, it can be turned off. Yes. Yeah, I think, yeah. This also we read. To extinguish a roaring forest fire, there must be volumes of water. In other words, there must be an arrangement that is beyond human endeavor. As automatically, by rain, how forest fire can be extinguished. Krishna's mercy through the rain. Through the rain only it will be evaporated. How humans can be able to do that? Right. When there is a merciful cloud over the forest fire, the cloud bursts, rain pours down in the torrents, and the blazing fire is immediately extinguished. As a cloud collects water from the ocean, similarly, this is important state. That's what I want to read. Similarly, the spiritual master collects water from Krishna's ocean of mercy, and pours it over the blazing fire of material existence. Unless we come to the platform of understanding this literature through a guru, this forest fire won't be extinguished. That's where Guru Tattva is very, 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 very important. In our school, we have teacher. In our college, we have teacher. In our university, we have teachers. Then why don't we accept in our spiritual life? And why don't we accept in our spiritual life as a teacher, our spiritual master? Right? Srila Prabhupada is a great Vaishnava Acharya, our founder Acharya. Right? We follow Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada follows his guru. His guru follows his guru. Ultimately, it connects to Krishna. Right? So, we have to, importance of guru, very, very important. Much importance to understand this spiritual knowledge. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshyo parampara. Parampara means disciplic succession. Guru Sishya Sampradayam. We are part of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradayam. Let us continue another 5 minutes and then we'll wrap up. Okay, is that okay, Hare Krishna? Can we spend another 5 minutes?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Pallavi Mataji, Swapna Mataji. Can we spend another
Prabhuji, 5 minutes?
Prabhuji.
8:10? Let us close.
Yeah.
Okay. Swapna Mataji, you can read.
Yes, Prabhuji. In Vedic literatures, it is said that in order to understand the transcendental science of Krishna consciousness, we must try to acquire knowledge of how to extinguish this blazing fire of problems. Scientists, philosophers, and other educated men are trying very hard to extinguish it, but the result seems to be bigger and bigger bombs. The karmis or fugitive laborers are working with heart and soul day and night to extinguish this fire or to diminish the miserable condition of material existence. By dint of hard labor. The jnanis or philosophers are also trying, but they have become disgusted and so proclaim this world is false. Thinking this, they try to merge into the existence of the Supreme and in this way extinguish the fire. This is like the jackal who tries to pick some grapes from a vine and when he fails, says, "Oh, these grapes are sour anyway." The yogis or meditators try to gain superior mystic powers by becoming greater than the greatest, smaller than the smallest, lighter than the lightest, and heavier than the heaviest. But this is just so much child's play with any material body, whether it be great or small, light or heavy. The problems of material existence still remain. In this way, one may progress from one stage to another, coming from the stage of karmi or fruitive laborer to the stage of jnani or philosopher, to the stage of yogi or
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, meditator, but in case one finally has to come to the platform of bhakti or devotional service. This is real evolutionary process. It is indicated in Bhagavad Gita in this way. Prabhuji, scroll, yeah. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevaya sarvam iti samahatma Sudharlabha, after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Thank you. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. We become fortunate, we feel fortunate, like, we are trying to understand Krishna's teachings in a proper Guru disciplic succession. We always have to feel that very fortunate to associate with devotees, learn these teachings from Krishna in a proper way. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan. Many people doesn't have this fortune. I mean, even if we try, they won't come to the book distribution. Just example, we try book distribution, all these efforts we made, still some people won't take up the process. That's the thing. And we have some taste in hearing. If we have, associating with devotees, and by becoming associating with devotees, we become happy, means we are advancing. And we are very fortunate, and we let us continue like that way. Yeah, we got this human form and we got this opportunity to serve Krishna and understand these teachings nicely and apply in our life. And this is the only life. Prabhupada says many times, give this one life to Krishna. Give this one life to Krishna. That's it. Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanamante, after many, many births, who actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. This is said that who said this? Directly, Bhagavan, the all attractive personality, Krishna, Supreme Personality, Govinda, he said. So that's very important. So let us seriously practice Bhakti Yoga and come to these calls and hearing, reading. This helps us and enhance our Bhakti, right? So thank you. And last two paragraphs, Pallavi Mata, you want to read? Can you please read?
Surrender to Krishna is the point. That is the aim of life. And the bhaktas, the intelligent men of the world, take to this stage immediately. Therefore, Krishna says that they are wise men. If after many, many births one has to come to this point of surrender, then why not immediately? The blazing fire of material nature is supervised by Durga. Often she is portrayed with the weapons in her hands. She has 10 hands and each holds a different type of weapon. This indicates that she is ruling all 10 directions of this universe. She wields the different weapons to chastise the demons. There is one famous picture of a demon struggling with a lion, and the goddess Durga is pulling the demon's hair and pushing her trident against his chest. If we study this picture, we can determine that we are the demon and that the trident is the threefold miseries of material existence from which we are always suffering. Some miseries are inflicted by other living entities, some are inflicted by natural disasters, and some are inflicted by the mind and body themselves. In one way or another, we are always struggling against these three types of miseries. No one in the material creation can say that he is free from them. The trident of this material nature is pressed against everyone's chest. And because of this, pure happiness within this material world is not possible. We may try to satisfy Mother Durga by worshipping her or by giving her some bribe, but Durga is not so easily bribed. Therefore, Chadwala Prabhuji?
Yeah, he pays complete the Mataji.
Ah, okay. Fine. Therefore, we should know that our aim of life should be to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should make every arrangement, social, political, philosophical, or religious, but the aim should be to approach the Supreme Person. In the Vedas, it is stated that the learned, advanced people, the demigods of the creation, simply look to the lotus feet of Krishna. The aim should be the same with human civilization. Without looking to Krishna's lotus feet, all religious, social, or political endeavors will fail. It is not possible to make progress as long as our desires are anchored in the material world. In this regard, there is a story of a bridegroom's party who had to go to the bride's house down the river. It was settled that they would start at night by boat and reach the destination early in the morning. Therefore, at night after supper, the jubilant party got aboard a boat, made themselves comfortable, and instructed the boatmen to start.
Thank you, Mataji. Let us stop here. Okay.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. We'll discuss on Friday. Okay. It's been already 10 minutes more. Thank you so much for your association. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution antuna. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution. Yes, we are distributing this knowledge through Zoom calls, not physical distribution. That is also possible. Yes, we are distributing this knowledge through Zoom calls. Yes, Krishna only given this right immediate statement. Very well. Yes, Transcendental Book reading ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Pallavi Mataji, Samyukta Mataji, Swapna Mataji, Sirisha Mataji, Vindala Mataji. Today our Sudhil Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu didn't join. Maybe they were busy. I pinged them. But anyway, let us connect on Friday, okay? Have a happy Krishna conscious night. Thinking about Krishna, Gopas, Gopis, cows, cowherd boys, etc. And sleep nicely.
Hare
Practice nice.
Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.